ये है आपका अपना सब रंग 94.7 FM।
Rajesh will ask you some question about the Darbhang conference.
So, Paul, that's really very good to listen from you all these things. How Dalits, because we can't see the any country, we can't judge the country on the basis of just the growth they do economically, but on the basis of social, how they are doing socially and how the downtrodden or poor people are doing in that country. On the basis of that only, we can see how far this country has gone. So I don't believe India is doing much progress in that way. So we are a lot behind than what we should be achieved so far. But again, I will come to your moment point of view where about the Durban 2001 in the South Africa, when you took 200 people with you, Dalits from all over the world, and you raised the issue of Dalits. So tell us something about that, how all these things happen.
Thank you, Rajesh. One small, not so much. I mean, an important thing is I was just one of the persons who had led it. We had several other leaders who have come together, and together we had led them. But Durban, in the history of Dalit rights, is a watershed in one way, because till Durban came, from the time that Baba Saheb Ambedkar has taken that issue, if you recall, one of the first times internationally he has taken it was during the roundtable conference. First roundtable conference he was not there. I think from the second roundtable conference onwards he was invited, and he made tremendous arguments which was put forward why Dalits should be specially protected in the transfer of power from the colonial power of the British to the democratic power that they are planning to transfer. It was at that time Ambedkar very clearly said, it is not just political freedom that you must give. Of course, political freedom you give once the British transfer your responsibility to the Indian responsibility. But the problem is, if you don't also ensure that if there is no social freedom which is still ridden with inequality based on caste within the Indians, there is no meaning for a political freedom. I think this is one of the major things that Dr. Ambedkar has brought, and this was not properly understood by the freedom fighters at that time. They said, no, somehow first we must get rid of the white. And once we get rid of the white, humko pura azad milega. But then this azad is for whom? Is it only for those ruling classes already in the villages? You know how villages are divided, landed and landless. And the landed and the feudal landlords, they had controlled power over serfs. We have still a system of bonded labor. We have a system where children are sold as labor. That time and that even now it continues. So these issues, Baba Saheb felt that you have to address. Unfortunately, the independence stressed too much on only the political freedom, which is important, no doubt. And I think India, to that extent, has done well. But then that political freedom has not sufficiently seized or sufficiently reached several people, including women. If you see the kind of violence against women, why is it that kind of a wretched kind of a violence in terms of rapes, in terms of assault on women are happening? Sufficiently because women's freedom and political rights have not been given the necessary attention, and the systems of justice, mechanisms of justice have not reached them as much as justice that men had. Similarly, on the other count is the people who belong to the erstwhile untouchable caste. We are saying scheduled caste, or now we are saying also Dalits. Now, Dalits also have not got that kind of a full freedom. There are courts, Dalits vote, and you can also say Dalits have their parliamentarians, Dalits have political reservation, and Dalits have educational reservation, Dalits have employment reservation. What more do you want people to say? But then these appear to be having freedom and independence. But in the fact, how these several positions and several powers are being implemented at the village level, at the block level, at the district level. There, when you see, we get shocked. I think that is what we found as human rights activists in India, as young, energetic people. We felt that till land has been given in our name, but possession has not been given. So we were just holding these patas on paper. They are just there, and nobody respects them because the land is still under the control of the erstwhile landlord. And they would say, how dare you begin to cultivate that land. Then when we filed a case against the landlord in the police station, they just laugh and say, you stupid fool, how dare you have the courage to file the complaint. We will not. On the other hand, they will file a counter case against our people, the Dalits, saying that this person is a thief. He has stolen something from the farm of this landlord. So, access to justice at the time is not there. You have reservation. Reservation is not being implemented. You take the case of Delhi University. Delhi University is supposed to have 16% of the professors from the scheduled caste, and you have no dearth of people from scheduled caste who have finished their doctorate. But they are hardly filling 2%. So which means 14%, almost around, if I am not mistaken, around 1,200 posts of professors are among the scheduled caste categories are unfilled. So you have all these laws, access to land, access to justice, access to employment, they are not being fulfilled. That was the reason we felt that we should take these issues down from the village, from the state level onto the national level, and when we found not sufficient response, we felt that it is necessary to take it beyond the boundaries of our country to international level, so that pressure will be put, and so that people will see the kind of violence and the kind of injustice that is being still meted out to them. And that was the reason we felt that we need to take the issue to the World Conference Against Racism. People said that, Dalit issue is not a race issue. We said, no, we know it is not a race issue, but it is an issue of discrimination, and it is an issue of law and not being sufficiently enforced, not by accident, but by a system which prevents justice from reaching Dalits.
So actually, I may interrupt you because this means that the conference which you did, you participated there, the intention was to put more pressure, international pressure on the Indian authorities to implement. Because as you mentioned, because all of things you mentioned, that means that every law exists there, only the practice of the law, because while the presence of law, still Dalits are being discriminated against the practice, because in practice the law is not there, because the foundation of this all was based on the religion. And that I may mention that the Tulsi Das's Dora, that he says, because you mentioned women also, you mentioned family violence also, so that he says Pashu, Tor, Shudra or Nari, Charu Tadan ke Adhikari. This means that in their religious belief, the Brahmins, the preaching class has introduced this, that the Dalits should be avoided and should be pressurized. My question is that, because since we call India, it is the largest democracy on the soil of earth, so in that democracy, what is the present situation of the Dalits, and what may be the future of Dalits? What do you feel relevant, and what do you want to say us to share with the people?
Paul, before we start your answer on this one, I think I should take a break, because our sponsor's message is very crucial to us also to run this program. So I will take a little small break, and then we'll come back and listen to you on this one. ਸੁਣਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਜੀ ਸਬਰੰਗ ਰੇਡੀਓ 94.7 FM। ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਪੌਲ ਦਿਵਾਕਰ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲੀ ਦਲਿਤ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਰਾਈਟਸ ਤੇ ਦੇ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਟ ਓਨਲੀ ਕੱਲੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਭਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਕਾਫੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅੱਜ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ
ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ
ਸੋ ਕਾਫੀ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ
ਪੰਜਾਬੀਅਤ ਦੀ ਮਸਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਵੋ ਮਲੰਗ 24 ਘੰਟੇ 7 ਦਿਨ ਸਭ ਰੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਭ ਰੰਗ ਰੇਡੀਓ 94.7 FM